who is in wisdom and goodness appointed the office of leaders and county assemblies for the welfare of society and just government of the people, we beseech you to be all your abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to accord the performance of important tasks in this republic. Let your blessing descend upon us, your assemble, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberations in so just and faithful as manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Clerk.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Clerk.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Clerk.
Order number 3, messages.
Clerk.
Order number 4, petitions.
Clerk.
Order number 5, papers.
Honorable Gilbert Chepkonga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of my able chair of Roads and Public Work, I want to lay the paper at the floor of the House, that is the report on vetting of nominee of appointment of the Office of the Chief Officer, Roads and Transport and Public Works. I lay.
Honorable Hilary Torotich.
And thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. As the chair, cooperatives and enterprises development, I want to lay paper in respect to CEO, Mr. Geoffrey Kirwa. Thank you.
Honorable Samuel Sawe.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the floor of the House. That is the report on vetting of nominee for appointment as the Chief Officer, Economic Planning.
Honorable Nathan Malamosh. Or representative from the ICT.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to lay. I want to lay for nomination of one. I want to lay on the first report of Committee on ICT and E-Government Innovation for nomination of the nominee. I beg to give out the paper.
Honorable Moses Kebene.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also beg to lay this paper vetting on CEO, Land and Physical Planning. Thank you.
Honorable David Tarus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to lay the first report of the Committee on Administration and Devolution on vetting of nominee for appointment to the office of Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Evans Kapke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I beg to lay the following paper. That is the first report of the Committee on Trade, Industry, Investment and Tourism on vetting of nominee for appointment to the office of Chief Officer. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Clerk.
Order number 6, notice of motion.
Honorable, on behalf of Honorable Chepkong.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Once again, on behalf of our able chair of Roads, Transport and Public Works, I want to give the notice of the following motion that this County Assembly do adopt the second report of the Committee on Roads, Transport and Public Works on vetting of nominee for appointment of the Chief Office of the Chief Officer, Roads, Transport and Public Works, dated 11th April 2023 and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendment. Thank you.
Honorable Hilary Torotich.
Thank you, Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I stand to table to give the following notice in respect to the nominee, Mr. Geoffrey Kirwa, for the appointment as the CEO, Cooperatives and Enterprises, dated 11th April 2023, which is today, and I table in this House. Thank you.
Honorable Torotich, is that motion, notice of motion? Maybe there's a notice of motion, maybe. The clerk, you can.
I just summarized that this County Assembly to adopt the first report of the Committee on Cooperatives and Enterprises Development on vetting of nominee for appointment to the office of Chief Officer, Cooperative and Enterprise Development, dated 11th April 2023 and tabled in this Honorable House today on 12th April 2023 with or without amendments.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Samuel, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to give notice of motion that this County Assembly do adopt the fifth report of the Committee on Finance, Budget and Appropriation on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, Economic Planning, dated 11th April 2023 and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Thank you.
Honorable Nathan, on behalf of Honorable Koski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I beg to give the notice of motion that this Assembly do adopt the first report on the Committee of ICT and E-Government and Innovation on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, ICT and E-Government and Innovation, dated 11th April 2023 and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendment.
Honorable Moses Kibene. On behalf of Maybe Honorable David Tarus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this County Assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on Administration and Devolution on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Moses Kabane. Moses Kabane.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I beg to give notice of motion.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. That man is being...
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Buya, for being concerned. Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I beg to give notice of motion that this County Assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on Lands and Physical Planning on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, Lands and Physical Planning, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this House, Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Thank you.
Honorable Evans Kapke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this County Assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on Trade, Industry, Investment and Tourism on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of the Chief Officer, Trade, Industry, Investment and Tourism, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That pursuant to Uasin Gishu County Assembly Standing Order number 28-3, this House do adjourn its sittings from Wednesday, 12th April 2023 to Tuesday, 16th May 2023 to proceed for long recess as per the Uasin Gishu County Assembly calendar. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Clerk.
Order number 7, statements.
Clerk.
Order number 8, motions and bills.
Clerk.
Supplementary order of the day, order number 9, motion.
Honorable Minority Leader, on behalf of Honorable Gilbert Chepkonga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Once again, on behalf of my able chair for Roads and Public Works, Honorable Gilbert Chepkonga, I want to move the following motion. That this County Assembly do adopt the second report of the Committee of Roads, Transport and Public Works on vetting of nominee for the appointment to the Office of the Chief Officer, Roads, Transport and Public Works, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendment. Mr. Speaker, I know honorable members have very many reports before them, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, allow me to go through the report. The report, the covering page is Uasin Gishu County Assembly, Third Assembly, Second Session 2023, Committee on Roads, Transport and Public Works, Second, report on vetting of nominee for appointment to the office of the Chief Officer, Roads, Transport and Public Works. Down there is Directorate Committee and the Legal Legislative Services, the County Assembly Building. That is for the sake of those who are following. And it is dated 11th April 2023. The second page is the table of content, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members can go through it. The table of content from 1.0 to 6.0, that is conclusion. Page number 3, Mr. Speaker, as I forward, Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Section 30D of the County Government Act 2012, and in accordance with Article 179(2)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, His Excellency the Governor Jonathan B. nominated Mr. Abraham Kiptalam Bureti for appointment as Chief Officer, Roads, Transport and Public Works. The nominee was conveyed to the Speaker of the County Assembly on Tuesday, 14th March 2023 through letter reference number UG CCSCA admission to 2023, volume number 136. The nominee curriculum vitae and testimonial were enclosed in the letter, Annex 1. Pursuant to Standing Order number 551-1, the Speaker of the County Assembly on Wednesday, 15th March 2023, read the message from His Excellency the Governor communicating the name to the House on nomination of the Chief Officer, and he committed to the relevant sectoral committee, that is Committee on Roads and Public Works, pursuant to provision of Section 45 of the County Government Act 2012, Section 5(7) of the Public Appointments, County Assembly Approval Act number 5 of 2017, and Standing Order number 51(3) of the County Assembly of Uasin Gishu, the clerk of the County Assembly placed an advertisement in the print media on Thursday, 23rd March 2023, inviting the public to submit memoranda by way of written statement on all affidavit on the suitability or otherwise of each nominee, and as well as venue and time for vetting. The nominee appeared before the Committee on Roads, Transport and Public Works on Monday, 3rd April 2023, from 11 a.m. at the County Assembly premises in accordance to the provision of Article 179 of the Constitution of Kenya, Section 5 of the Public Appointments, County Assemblies Approval Act number 5 of 2017, and Standing Order number 51 on their suitability or otherwise for the appointment of the position of Chief Officer. Preface. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the members of the Committee on Roads, Transport and Public Works, and pursuant to the provision of Section 5 of the Public Appointment, County Assemblies Approval Act number 5 of 2017 and Standing Order number 51, it is my honor and duty to present to this Honorable House the committee's report on the vetting of Mr. Abraham Kiptalam Bureti, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer in the Department of Roads, Transport and Public Works. 1.2. Establishment of the committee. The Committee of Roads, Transport and Public Works is a sectorial committee established under Standing Order number 202 of the Uasin Gishu County Assembly Standing Orders, read together with Article 124(4) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. 1.3, committee mandate. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Committee of Roads, Transport and Public Works is one of the County Assembly Secretarial Committee established under Uasin Gishu County Assembly Standing Order number 2025, which states that the function of the sectorial committee shall be to, Mr. Speaker, as per the standing order, I was holding brief of the substantial chair who was was engaging on a very important matter, and because he has not settled, I continue. Shall be to investigate, inquire into, and report on all matters relating to the mandate, management, activities, administration, operation, and estimate of the assigned sector. B, study the program and policy objective of the sector and the effectiveness of the implementation. C, study and review all county legislation referred to it. D, study, assess, analyze the relative success of the sector as measured by the result obtained as compared with their stated objective. E, investigate and inquire into all matters relating to the assigned sector as they may deemed necessary and as may be referred to them by the House. F, vet and report on all appointments where the Constitution or any law
Point of order, Mr. Speaker, sir.
requires the County Assembly to approve.
Honorable Minority, what is point of order, Mheshimiwa Bureti?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Because of interest of time, I think the committee mandate is something that is with us. I think honorable members who are leading us in the motions should actually skip that. Those areas that are actually obvious for us as members, so that we get the reports for all the committees. Thank you.
For the because of the time, Honorable Minority Leader, maybe due to the reports that are in this Honorable House, maybe you can shift, but not necessarily on one page. Maybe you have been in this House, Honorable Minority Leader. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, this proceeding is being followed by Kenyans in the whole county. I think we are going to use the minimum time possible because it is not for our own consumption. It is for the consumption of the whole county. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, because of the integrity of the house that you lead, just allow honorable members to use the minimum time possible, but cover as much as possible. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The committee membership is as indicated. I don't want to lay it because the membership is as indicated. Mr. Speaker, I can only read the chair and the deputy chair. That is, we are led by Honorable Gilbert Chepkonga being the chairman, Honorable Rebecca Jerob as our vice chair person, and other 9 honorable members as indicated. Committee secretariat, because they are very important secretariat, it is good to mention them. The committee secretariat is led by none other than Mr. Nicholas Kosgei, clerk of the committee, Mr. Kelvin Mwibanda, assistant clerk to the committee, Ms. Zedi Tanui, Hansard reporter, Mr. Ruben Omweri, our able sergeant at arms. Background, notification of the nomination. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to section number 30D of the County Government Act 2012, and in accordance with Article 179(2)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, His Excellency the Governor, Honorable Jonathan B. nominated the underlisted person for appointment of the Chief Officer, Roads, Transport and Public Works. The name is as read before, Mr. Abraham Kiptalam Bureti. Position, Chief Officer, Road, Transport and Public Works. Gender, he's of course a male. And of ID number 29227835. Issue for consideration during approval hearing. Mr. Speaker, in conducting the vetting process, the Committee on Road, Transport and Public Works examined the nominee using the following criteria amongst others. 1, academic qualification, employment record, professional association, political affiliation, potential conflict of interest, overall suitability for the position, tax compliance, integrity, legal provision relating appointment of a function of chief officer. Mr. Speaker, the County Government Act 2012, Section 45, mandate the government to appoint chief officer with approval of the county assembly. This section further provide for procedure used by the governor when nominating as chief officer. This is stipulated as follows. Appointment of the chief officer. The governor shall A, nominate qualified and experienced chief officers from among persons competitively sourced, recommended by the County Public Service Board, and B, with the approval of the County Assembly, appoint a county chief officer. 2, the office of the county chief officer shall be an office in the county public service. 3, a county chief officer shall be responsible to the respective county executive committee member for administration of a county department as provided under section 46. 4, the county chief officer shall be authorized officer in respect of exercise of delegated powers. 5, the governor may reassign the county chief officer. I repeat, 5, the governor may reassign a county chief officer. 6, a county chief officer may resign from office by giving notice in writing to the governor. Mr. Speaker, the provision of Section 8 of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act number 5 of 2017 highlights issues for consideration by relevant committee county assembly in relation to any nomination, which include the following. 1, the procedure used to arrive at nominee, including the criteria for shortlisting of the nominee. 2, any constitutional or statutory requirement relating to the office in question. 3, the suitability of the nominee for the appointment of proposed, having regard to whether the nominee credential, abilities, experience, and qualities meet the needs of the body to which the nomination is being made. Mr. Speaker, sir, Section 10(1) of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act number 5 of 2017 provides that where the nomination of the candidate is rejected by the county assembly, the appointing authority may submit another nominee to the assembly for vetting and approval accordingly. 2.4, procedure for nomination. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to provision of article number 179(2) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and Section 5 of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act 2017, His Excellency the Governor notified the County Assembly of the nomination of 7 persons for the nominee of officers of the chief officers. Memoranda from members of the public in respect of the nominee. Mr. Speaker, sir, no memoranda was received from the public by the Committee on Roads, and public transport and transport, Mr. Speaker. Ownership of the report. Mr. Speaker, we, the undersigned, hereby affix signatures to this report to affirm our approval. Mr. Speaker, as member can see, from the chairperson to the last person, that is I, Honorable Francis Muya, we all appended our signature to affirm that we own this report, and you can see that all the 11 members appended their signatures. Therefore, we do own up this report. Approval hearing of the nominee. Mr. Speaker, sir, during its sitting held on Monday, 3rd April 2023, at the main chamber, the committee vetted Mr. Abraham Kiptalam Bureti. Mr. Abraham Kiptalam Bureti, nominee for the position of Chief Officer, Roads, Transport and Public Works. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee, having considered the nominees' field questionnaires, his curriculum vitae, and having had his oral submission during the approval hearing, made the following observation on his suitability for the appointment as Chief Officer, Roads, Transport and Public Works. That on academic qualification, the nominee is currently pursuing a Doctor of Philosophy in Business Management Information System at Kenyatta University. B, hold a master degree of arts in project planning and management from University of Nairobi. C, he holds a Bachelor of Science in Business Information Technology from Multimedia University of Kenya. D, has a Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education from Kapsabet Boys High School. 2, that on his employment record, the nominee has a cumulative working experience of 9 years. From June 2019 to date, he has been working as a technical-led project manager at Adjournment Technologies Limited. B, from March 2017 to May 2019, he was a network deployment project accountant at Roto Solution Company. C, from November 2015 to January 2017, he was a survey and design fiber network technician at Ignet Africa Technologies Limited. D, from September 2014 to January 2015, he worked as a database administrator trustee at Liquid Telecom Limited. That on professional association, the nominee is a member of Resilience Monetary and Evaluation, that is REM&E. That on professional qualification, the nominee hold the following: Project Management Professional, PNP certificate, Tier Project Certificate, certification. C, Certified Public Accountants, Section 1 and 2. 5, that on their overall suitability for the position, the nominee A is a multi-skilled and dedicated professional, project manager and technical expert. B, demonstrated that he is a team leader and has analytical skills. This was exhibited through his submission, where he informed the committee that he has been a leader through his life as a student. He also explained how his analytical skill helped him set up a number of business and help them grow. C, has brilliant oratory skills and is a good communicator. Mr. Speaker, I can attest to this, that when he was being vetted, this nominee almost answered all questions before even he was being answered. Therefore, he's an orator. D, has vast knowledge in technical matters in project planning and management From his presentation, he was able to outline the various systems he has been able to adapt at the various institutions he has served. These systems have been able to solve challenges and help deliver services required. D, demonstrated a good organizational and planning for progress achievement. He elaborated several successes that were achieved by the various employers he has worked with, and as an entrepreneur, his organizational and planning skill have enabled him achieve great success with the teams he has worked with. F, has academic qualification and working experience that are relevant for the position applied because he has been managing and supervising teams of engineers, technicians, and other personnel involved in installation projects. Has vast experience in monitoring and evaluating customer satisfaction level to ensure that customers are completely satisfied with the services they provide. H, has experience in monitoring project schedule, budget, and staff activities to ensure that projects are completed on time and within the allocated budget. I, possess skills in the preparation of feasibility analysis. From his submission, he managed to outline his involvement in feasibility analysis that includes identification of needs, population served, financial feasibility, risk review, and consistency with the community plans. 6, that on the tax compliance, the nominee is tax compliant compliant citizen, having presented a valid tax compliance certificate number KRA Eldoret 129777054/2022. This he showed that he's a tax compliance, and as per the tax compliance certificate number as read. Number 7, that on integrity, the nominee meets Chapter 6 requirement of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, having presented the following certificates. A, CRB clearance certificate from Metropole Credit Reference Bureau Limited, number MCRB C 705840. B, compliance certificate from Higher Education Laws Board, that is HELB, number 24164. C, police clearance certificate from Director of Criminal Investigation, that is PCC 7AT 7Q BP3. Summary of committee observation. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to the provision of Section 5 of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act 2017, the committee observed that Mr. Abraham Kiptalam Bureti, nominee for Chiefs Officer Roads, Transport and Public Works, met the integrity threshold and has the requisite ability, academic qualification, and professional experience to be approved to be approved for the appointment. Mr. Speaker, to add on this, I want to say that he is a youth, being 32 years of age, well educated. He's currently doing a doctorate, as I read before, and therefore this man has worked and have proven to the Kenyan youths that even youths have a position in various government positions. There is a table there of the name of the nominee, that is Mr. Abraham Kiptalam Bureti. The panelists, that is all of us in that committee, we gave him marks, and surprisingly, he's an A student. That is the name, that is, he had an 83%. I can tell you, as I stated before, this nominee was very eloquent. He was to the point. He was very clear, a very good communicator, and he showed that in his previous appointment, he served and gave the best. And that's why he was awarded by all panelists to attain 83% as an average score. Committee recommendation. Having conducted approval hearing from the nominee pursuant to section 30D of the County Government Act 2012 and Standing Order number 51, 5, the committee recommends that this House approve the nominee of Abraham Kiptalam Bureti, a Kenyan youth by age bracket and well educated, as Chief Officer, Roads, Transport and Public Works by His Excellency the Governor of Uasin Gishu, Honorable Jonathan B, aka Chelilim. Conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Committee of Roads, Transport and Public Works is grateful to the office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly for their immense support and facilitation during writing of this report. I also wish to extend my appreciation to all the honorable members and the Secretariat of this committee for working tirelessly and coming up with this detailed report. On behalf of the Committee on Roads, Transport and Public Works, I urge this Honorable House to pass this report and approve the name of the nominee for appointment without an amendment. Without much ado, Mr. Speaker, because the report is self-explanatory, that the chair, our able chair, appended his signature, that is Honorable Gilbert Chepkonga, who led us in all these sittings and guided us in the report writing. We give congrats to our secretariat. They worked tirelessly to give this report. And because we have other reports that are before us, I don't want to expound much, but I want to tell you, the Honorable House, that this young man at 32 years of age is well educated, he's well composed, he's a family man, he's not green in such work. He has worked for more than 4 companies, and he has been given recommendation. And by the way he expressed himself during our vetting, he's up to the task. I want to tell this Honorable House, this is a man, a team leader, a manager, a person who will be accounting officer of this department, because that is a person we want. Therefore, I don't want to say much, but I want to urge this Honorable House to consider approving without amendment this report, passing the name of the nominee of to be the Chief Officer, Roads, Transport and Public Works. And with those many remarks, I want to ask none other than Honorable Gilbert Chepkonga, the chairman himself, whom I was holding brief of, to second this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I arise, Honorable Speaker, to second this motion. That Honorable Speaker, Mr. Abraham Kiptalam Bureti is a young guy, very energetic, passionate, and without doubt, the committee recommended that the House passes it without amendment. I wish to thank my able leader of minority for holding brief on my behalf when I was away on official duty. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to add much because of the enormity of the work that is in front of us, but I urge the House, Honorable Speaker, to approve his name so that he be appointed as the chief officer in this Department of Roads, Public Works. And for that, Honorable Speaker, I second. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. I will now propose a question that this county assembly do adopt a report of the Committee on Roads, Transport and Public Works on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, Roads, Transport and Public Works, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Debate. Honorable members, I'll give some of you around few members, and let's mind on our time when we are debating this issue. Thank you. Honorable Deputy Majority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As a member of this committee, I rise in support of the report. I rise in support of the report, Mr. Speaker, that one Mr. Kiptalam Bureti be appointed or resolved by this House that becomes the member Chief Officer, Roads, Public Works and Infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to replicate a very enthusiastic relationship between the arm of government in this House and the opposition. That today, the leader of minority and the opposition in the House is tabling the report, and we have seen working it. And I want the National Assembly to echo what's happening in Uasin Gishu County, because both in the ad hoc committee and in this committee, we are seeing a very mutual relationship on matters government business and on matters that touches to the people of Uasin Gishu. I want to echo that. I support that Mr. Kiptalam Bureti be appointed due to his vast knowledge in matters project management, in matters development, in matters accounting, in matters organization of the workforce and human resource. I support, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Rebecca Chepchirchir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also rise in support of the motion tabled by the minority leader on the approving of for roads and transport and roads, Mr. Abraham Kiptalam. I'm so impressed with this candidate or nominee because of the knowledge he has in project planning and management. The Department of Roads is planning. And I am happy that he has experience of 9 years working in the field of management. I have faith that he will plan the roads of Uasin Gishu to its betterment. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is the youngest chief officer our governor has in his government, and I believe he will give us the best service delivery because he still have the energy to serve the people of Uasin Gishu. The years that this young man has with the education that he has pleases me so much because our students in Uasin Gishu County, or the young men and ladies in Uasin Gishu, will just see an example of this young man, less than 30 years, or he's around 30 years, getting a position, serving a big docket, which is second department when it comes to terms of resources, sharing of resources in the county government of Uasin Gishu. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to stand to support the nominee, Kiptalam to be our Chief Officer Roads. Thank you.
Honorable Caroline.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to add my voice into the nominee for roads and public works. Seemingly, from the explanation and the description from the leader of minority, he has given us sufficient reasons to approve this particular nominee to this office. And I'm here standing to just add and say that we give him this opportunity, as already being young, energetic, and promising, he's going to model for our youth the possibility of dreaming big. Allow me to just illuminate a little bit on other matters, especially touching on the procedure that was used, as reported by the committee, that I'm convinced that proper communication was given as guided by the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act 2017. I'm also convinced from the report that issues of consideration was keenly looked into by the relevant committee, that the statutory requirements was verified accordingly as read out and also as attached or as appended herewith. The suitability of the candidate has been elaborated at length. He seems to have the right qualities. He seems to have the right experience. He seems to have been exposed to this particular docket that he's applying for. Gladly, he is coming in from a management background also, which is going to be required, because coming in as a CEO, most of the decisions that he'll be making will be those of that will be of accounting in nature, and those that will require him to lead a team. So as I sit down, Honorable Speaker, I also want to add that the period for this consideration is as guided, that is the 21-day period, which this committee has worked so hard to ensure that it is not surpassed. So my request to this House today is that we approve his nomination without amendments. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. I'll now put a question that this county assembly do adopt the second report of the committee on roads, transport and public works on vetting of nominee for appointment to the office of chief officer, roads, transport and public work, dated 11th April 2023 and tabled in this honorable house today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Will as many of the same opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Hilary Dorotich.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I stand to move the motion that this County Assembly to adopt the first report of the Committee of Cooperative and Enterprise Development on vetting of nominee of appointment to the Office of Chief Officer Cooperative and Enterprise Development, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. I believe, honorable members, you have the report with you. That session, that assembly, or the second session, is Committee on Cooperative and Enterprise Development. The first report on vetting on nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, Cooperative and Enterprises Development. You will see the table of contents, annexes, which are, we have the Kenya KRA, Higher Education Loans Board, EACC, and then let us move to, that's point number 1, forward. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Section 30D of the County Government Act 2012, and in accordance with Article 179(2)B of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, His Excellency the Governor nominated Mr. Geoffrey Kirwa Tanui for appointment as Chief Officer, Cooperative and Enterprises Development. The nomination was conveyed to the Speaker of the County Assembly on 14th March 2023 through letters reference UGCCS, and you can see up to the last digit start 6. The nominees' curricula vitae and testimonials were enclosed in the Annex 1. Pursuant to Standing Order 51-1, the Speaker of the County Assembly read the message from His Excellency the Governor communicating the names to the House on nomination of Chief Officers on 15th March 2023. And pursuant to provisions of the County Government Act 2012 of Section 45, Public Appointments, Act 2017, Section 5(7), and the Standing Orders 51(3) of the County Assembly, the Clerk of the County Assembly placed an advertisement in the print media on Thursday, 23rd March 2023, inviting the public to submit memoranda by way of written statements on oath, affidavit, on the suitability or otherwise each nominee, as well as venue and time of vetting. The nominee appeared before the Committee on Cooperatives and Enterprises Development on Friday, 31st March 2023, from 11 a.m. at the County Assembly premises in accordance to provisions of Article 179 of the Constitution and Section 5 of the Public Appointments, County Assemblies Approval Act 2017, and the Standing Orders to number 51 on its suitability or otherwise for the appointment to the position of Chief Officer. Mr. Speaker, sir, on acknowledgement, may I take this opportunity, that's page number 5, to thank all the members of the Committee on Cooperative and Enterprise Development for their input and valuable contribution during the deliberations and the vetting exercise. The committee also takes this opportunity to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly of Uasin Gishu for the logistical support accorded to in the entire process of vetting and coming up with this report. I would also wish to appreciate the committee secretariat for their efforts and support during the vetting process and producing the report on time. On the establishment of the Committee of Cooperatives and Enterprise Development is a sectorial committee established under Standing Order number 202 of the Uasin Gishu County Assembly Standing Orders, read together with Article 124(4) of the Constitution. So on the committee mandate is well stipulated. It is well stipulated very well. From A, we have B, we have C, we have D. E, which is to investigate and inquire into all matters relating to the assigned sectors as they deem necessary as may be referred to them by this House. Then the major one is F, whereby to vet and report all appointments where the Constitution or any law requires the County Assembly to approve, except those under Standing Order 197. And that's particularly what I'm doing right now. We have the committee membership listed on 6.0. The committee comprises of the following members. We are 8 in number, whereby I'm the chair and Mary Corretti is my vice. On number 7.0, on notification on nomination. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Section 30D of the County Government Act 2012 and in accordance with Article 179(2)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya, His Excellency the Governor nominated and listed a person appointment to the Chief Officers, Cooperatives and Enterprises Development. You can see we have a table whereby we have the name, who is Mr. Geoffrey Kirwa Tanui. Position he applied for, Cooperatives and Enterprise Development, is a male, and his ID number is indicated 21726938. Issues that we considered during the approval hearings, Mr. Speaker, that is point number 7.2. We consider the academic qualification, employment record, professional association, political affiliation, potential conflict of interest, overall suitability for the position, tax compliance, and integrity. Point 7.3, which is procedure for nomination. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to that Article 179.2 of the Constitution, of Kenya 2010 and Section 5 of the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act 2017, the governor notified the County Assembly on the nomination of 7 persons for the appointment of the offices of chief officers. We have the memoranda from the members of the public in respect to the nominee. Mr. Speaker, sir, there was no memorandum which was received from the public. On legal provisions regulating appointment and functions of chief officer. Mr. Speaker, the County Government Act 2012, Section 45, mandates the governor to appoint chief officers with the approval of the County Assembly. This section further provides for the procedures used by the governor when nominating a chief officer. This is stipulated as follows. The governor shall nominate qualified and experienced chief officer from among other persons competitively sourced and recommended by the County Public Service Board. The office of the county chief officer shall be an office in the county public service. A county chief officer shall be responsible to the respective county executive committee member for the administration of any county department as provided under Section 6. The county chief shall be authorized officer in respect of exercise of delegated power. The governor may reassign a county chief officer. A county chief officer may resign from office by giving notice in writing to the governor. Mr. Speaker, sir, on the committee sittings, which is on 7.6, that's page 9, the nominee appeared before the Committee on Cooperatives and Enterprises Development on 31st March 2020, that from 11, this is a repetition, Mr. Speaker. So let me jump to the ownership of the report. But we held around 5 sittings in consideration of this matter. That's the last line. On 7.7, ownership of the report, Mr. Speaker, we owned the report as committee members, and we signed on the document as indicated by the copy that you all have. Number 8.1 on approval hearing of the nominee. During its sitting held on Friday, that 1st March 2023, at the committee main room, the committee vetted Mr. Geoffrey Kirwatanui, Chief Officer, Nominee, Cooperatives and Enterprises Development. The committee, having considered the nominee field questionnaire, his curricula vitae, and having had his oral submissions during the approval hearing, made the following observation on his suitability for appointment as Chief Officer for Cooperative and Enterprises Development. On his background information, that's point 8.1, we have the date and place of birth. He was born on 28 December 1977 at a place called Kabongo Village, Ngeria Ward, Kapseret constituency in Uasin County. In his academic qualification, he possesses a master's in strategic management from University of Nairobi. He also has a bachelor's of commerce degree, accounting option from Kenyatta University, which he did in 1999 to 2003. He has a CPA 1, Section 1 and 2 from Aberdeen College. He has knowledge on, he did also computer packages. And these other ones, you can see he has a Form 4, he did a Form 4 in the year 1997 and also primary education in 1992. Employment record. He has served in various, he has experience for a period of 17 years, which includes Kenya Alliance Insurance Company, where he worked from 2016 up to date, ICA Lion Insurance Company 2009 to 2016, Cooperative Bank of Kenya 2004 to 2008, Sapon Insurance Brokers Limited, he worked in the year 2004. On professional association, Mr. Speaker, sir, the nominee is a member of Kenya Institute of Management. On issue on potential conflict of interest, there were no areas that could create any potential conflict of interest according to the field questionnaire by the nominee and his oral submissions. On integrity, Mr. Speaker, sir, the nominee was required to submit clearance certificate from the following statutory bodies to satisfy requirements of Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya. And upon verification, the committee noted that the nominee made the following requirements. That's a certificate of ethics and anti-corruption, KRA, help, criminal investigation, and credit reference bureau, that's a CRB. On overall suitability for the position of the nominee, the committee having considered the nominee's field questionnaire, his curricula vitae, and having had his oral submissions during the approval hearing, made the following observations on his suitability for appointments as chief officer. That the nominee, that's point number one, that the nominee demonstrated knowledge and experience in the field of cooperatives and enterprises development and can handle the department effectively. That the nominee is aware of the challenges in the department, like the cartels squandering as managers in the many cooperatives and circles that have collapsed, and he elaborated possible solutions. Number three, the nominee has confidence and passion for the job applied for, with experience in the leadership and management positions outlined in his career. Point number four, the nominee, given an opportunity, will invoke a lot of consultations with and within and outside the department. That the nominee showed ability to handle administrative and financial matters and will use the expertise and knowledge while working for Kitunguri dairy farmers to transform Wazingishu farmers and entrepreneurs. That the nominee promised to come up with programs that aligned in the CIDP 2023-2027 and will promote values envisaged in the national government mid-term development goal of Vision 2030. That the nominee outline strategies he will put in place to revive dormant cooperatives and circles, and that is through training and capacity buildings. The nominee promised to fast-track and strengthen audit mitigation in all circles and cooperatives. The nominee was eloquent and confident in his presentation before the committee that he was ready to network and partner with relevant departments in the county, country, and across the globe. That the nominee asserted that he will be able to bring the workforce together, promote teamwork and motivation for quality service delivery for the residents of Wazingishu County on matters of cooperatives and circles. Lastly, the nominee assured the committee that if given the opportunity to serve, he will have a harmonious relationship with the county assembly and other stakeholders through consultations and will come up with an open door policy. On assessment, Mr. Speaker, sir, on assessment, we assessed by awarding marks, and he got an average of 83%, which is a good mark, a good grade for such a position, given the factors that we considered when we were vetting him. On committee observation, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Section 5 of the Public Appointments, County Assembly's Approval Act 2017, the committee observed that the nominee met the integrity threshold, the requisite abilities, academic qualifications, and professional experience to be approved for appointment as Chief Officer, Cooperatives and Enterprises Development. Committee recommendations, that's point number 10. Having conducted approval hearings for the nominee pursuant to Section 30D of the County Government Act and Standing Order number 51, number 5 for the committee recommendations, that this House approves the nominee of Mr. Geoffrey Kirwa Tanui as Chief Officer, Cooperatives and Enterprise Development by His Excellency the Governor of Uasin Gishu. Conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the nominee is conversant in his roles and responsibility and has vast knowledge and therefore is suitable to be the Chief Officer, Cooperatives and Enterprises Development. Mr. Speaker, sir, I therefore urge this House to adopt this report and approve the name of the nominee for appointment without amendments. Mr. Speaker, sir, the last leaflet I have signed as the chair cooperatives on 11th April 2023, and I therefore urge this House, because we have seen his education, his experience, the knowledge, and he is up to the task, and I urge this House to approve. I therefore ask Honorable Mary Korechi to second. I move.
Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. First of all, I want to really appreciate the chair, Honorable Kipchumba, for having moved this motion of Chief Officer, Mr. Geoffrey Kiptanui Kirwa. And I want to say that, Mr. Speaker, having considered all that was required in the vetting of one Mr. Geoffrey Kiptanui Kirwa, it came out very clearly that this was a leader who could actually be able to take care of the resources of this county in the Department of Cooperative and Enterprise Department, because one, he understands the challenges that most of cooperatives are going through. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, having examined what deliverables he was going to give to this county government of Uasin Gishu, one, he said he was ready to consult on time to time with members and even outside. He also demonstrated that he has a vast knowledge and experience in cooperatives, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, we looked at it in a positive way. He also gave an example of having established Ketunguri Cooperative Society, which is one in Kenya that is very productive, and actually it is life. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, having also understood the challenges that cooperatives go through, he said that he was coming to bring sanity in our cooperatives, and also those that are dormant, he was going to revive them. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that one Mr. Geoffrey Kiptanui Kirwa was also able to satisfy the Constitution, that is Chapter 6 of the Constitution 2010, by providing all the clearance certificates as required. That one showed that his compliance to the law, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, as a committee, we say that one Mr. Geoffrey Kiptanui Kirwa is suitable to the position of a CEO in cooperative and enterprise development, and also having worked in a banking institution. That one also gives us an assurance that he is going to be able to take care of our money, being the CEO, the chief accounting officer in that department, and having handled finances before, is not actually going to give him much challenge in department. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I do second my chair that we as a honorable house do pass this report without any amendment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. I now propose a question that this County Assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on Cooperatives and Enterprise Development on vetting of nominee for appointment to the office of the Chief Officer, Cooperatives and Enterprise Development, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this honorable house today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Debate. Honorable Evans Kapka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I rise to support the report of the Committee on Cooperatives and Enterprise Development. And Mr. Speaker, I'm also one of the members of that committee. We vetted the nominee, and from his oral submission, I realized that he is aware of the position. And Mr. Speaker, he also understands, the roles or the importance of cooperative societies and circles in the society of today. And having worked in a cooperative under the section of funding cooperative societies and circles, we were satisfied as the members of that committee that he will deliver, and he will also assist in development of active and dormant cooperative society. If you look at the academic qualification of the nominee, he has a combination of the two, which is very important. That is a Bachelor of Commerce, that is an accounting option, and we are aware that he is the accounting officer in the department. He also has masters in strategic management. And for these cooperative societies, we require someone who understands the management and planning, because all cooperative societies, they are now dormant. Some of them are even not working because of the management. And we were convinced as the members of the committee that our nominee was fit for that job. And we request honorable members to consider passing this report and approving the nominee. And we are very confident that we will have the results at the end of the day or at the end of the term, and our residents of Uasin Gishu will benefit from the management skills of one Geoffrey Tanui. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Honorable Julius.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to also give a take on this. First of all, I appreciate the committee. From the report that we have, it shows us that the candidate is able, has the ability to take up the task. As we all know that our agendas in Kenya Kwanza lies in cooperative societies. So I believe that the nominee will be in position to flag up the agendas of Kenya Kwanza in doing his best in making sure that the cooperative societies in Uasin Gishu are at the top level. Therefore, I stand to also support that the report given by the committee be passed the way it is. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. I will now put a question that this County Assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on Cooperatives and Enterprise Development on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, Cooperatives and Enterprise Development, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Will as many of the similar opinions say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinions say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable Samuel Sawe.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion that this County Assembly do adopt the fifth report of the Committee on Finance, Budget and Appropriation on vetting of nominee for appointment to the office of Chief Officer, Economic Planning, 30th, 11th April 2023, and double in this House, Honorable House, today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the vetting exercise on Ms. Victorine Jeb-Korir Kapkiai, the committee made the following observation. The committee, having considered her curriculum vitae and had her oral submission during the vetting exercise interview, made the following observation: that 1, she is a Kenyan citizen. 2, she is a resident of Uasin Gishu County, Kapsoya Ward. 3, she is currently pursuing doctorate degree of philosophy in finance. 4, she has master's degree in business administration, accounting option. 5, she has bachelor's degree of business administration, accounting option. 6, she is a holder of CPA-K. 7, she is a member of ISPAC. 8, she has worked for a total of 8 years in various capacities. Number 9, she was recruited competitively by the Uasin Gishu County Public Service Board pursuant to Section 45, subsection 1, subsection A of the County Government Act 2012. 10, she was nominated by His Excellency the Governor pursuant to Section 45, subsection 1, subsection A of the County Government Act 2012. 11, she demonstrated willingness to learn and that she is a team player. 12, she has been cleared by relevant bodies, i.e. the Kenya Police, Kenya Revenue Authority, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Metropole Credit Reference Bureau Limited, and Higher Education Loans Board. And number 13, she demonstrated knowledge on the roles as pertains the office of the Chief Officer Economic Planning, and she has the requisite abilities, qualification, and experience to serve as the Chief Officer Economic Planning. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the assessment, pursuant to Section 7, subsection 9 of Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act 2017, the committee rated the nominee as follows. Ms. Victorine Kapkiai got an average marks of 75% from all the interviewers. And the committee recommendation, Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to provision of Section 45B of the County Government Act 2012 and Standing Order number 19-15F, the committee hereby approves and recommends the nomination of Ms. Victorine Jeb-Korir Kapkiai for appointment to the office of the Chief Officer Economic Planning. Enclosed to this report are vetting questionnaires and answers, a copy of her curriculum vitae, copy of filled in first schedule of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act 2017, copies of academic certificates, and lastly, copies of statutory clearance documents. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've pended my signature to own the report. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, during our vetting, the committee found out that Ms. Victorine Kapkiai is fit for the job as per the qualification and experience in the field, and we want to laud the governor for giving her this position, observing that of the 7 nominees, she is the only lady. Now I want to take this chance as I request honorable members to approve her nomination, to give time to Honorable Caroline Cherono to second.
Honorable Caroline.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity once more to add my voice in seconding the proposal of the motion. Being a member, or having been a member of this committee and in writing this report, allow me, Honorable Speaker, to focus on the committee recommendations about this particular nominee. And I'll talk much about whatever is specific to this particular nominee as far as this position she's been nominated for is concerned. Just to highlight her qualifications is that she's a holder of a master's degree in business administration, specifically accounting option. She's also a bachelor's degree holder in business administration, again on accounting option, and she's a CPA holder. During our analysis on the suitability of this candidate, Honorable Speaker, is that we felt her educational background was going to come in handy in meeting the needs that are specific to this particular docket, that is economic planning. This one, Ms. Victorine Kapkiai, demonstrated to the committee that she is up to the task and that she had the relevant exposure, experience, and education to meet the roles and responsibilities as is expected of her should she be considered in this house. Some of the roles and responsibilities that we looked keenly into and tried to match to her qualification is that one on preparation of annual budgets. The other one is on developing and implementing financial economic policies in the county, financial reporting as per Section 163 of the PFM Act 2012, and enforcement of the fiscal responsibility principles as espoused by Section 107 of the PFM Act. Also on compliance with the accounting standards as guided by IASB, that is the International Accounting Standards Board. From all this, Honorable Speaker, we were able to tell that in her units, especially in CPA, she covered financial reporting, which will now come in handy in ensuring that the reports are handed in on a timely basis as required by or as guided by PFM Act. We also noticed that she has covered most of those units which are going somehow to be so direct to the role and the responsibilities that will be accorded to her should she be considered for this position. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, on our SWOT analysis, that is basically the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, come threats, and threats that are specific to this particular candidate, we observed that she had not been in the sphere or the realm of public finance, which was likely to pose a challenge, but she convinced the committee that out of that, she's a team player and she's willing to learn. And we felt that that is actually a makeup for that particular observation that we had made. And that the deficit probably that we might have noted then would be made up by the cooperation that she will get by being a team player, and that there will be a lot of complementing of each other within the department to ensure that she seamlessly merges into the department and that the operations are run smoothly. As I sit down, since she demonstrated that she's actually a team player,
as an assembly, we felt that this will also come in handy, as she will be able, as one of her roles and responsibilities, she's supposed to acquaint and to inform the county assembly on the implementation of annual budgets. So we felt that being a team player, she's likely to reach out and to cooperate with this House in ensuring that we get timely reports on annual budgets. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now propose a question that this county assembly do adopt the fifth report of the Committee on Finance, Budget and Appropriation on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, Economic Planning, dated 11th April 2023, and table in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Debate. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the motion that has been ably moved by the Chair and the Vice Chair. Honorable Speaker, as was said by the able Chair, this nominee, as we found out during the vetting process, she's a soft-spoken person. And she proved to us that, Honorable Speaker, she is able to understand clearly all the requirements in the department in as far as the Public Finance Management Act requirements are concerned. Especially we are concerned in matters budget, because specifically she will be the person at the center of budget making process. In this county, Mr. Speaker, we have noticed that we have challenges in budget making process. First of all, I must appreciate this lady, because, Mr. Speaker, the person who has been in that docket for the last 5 years has been a lady. And therefore, she comes in again to take over from the lady Millicent. And I know she will perform to the expectations of this House, as we saw during the approval hearing. Mr. Speaker, many issues that come up during the budget making process include trying to balance between projects that are introduced and completion of the ongoing projects. As we interviewed this nominee, it was apparent that she is very keen on making sure that all the ongoing projects are completed, the new projects are taken care of. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I'm convinced, as my colleagues have said, that she will be able to take this docket and assist the county in terms of planning, in terms of making sure that we comply with the statutory requirements of the Public Finance Management Act. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I add my voice to this debate and say I support this motion and request the Honorable House to approve so that she takes up this docket, because, Mr. Speaker, we are halfway during this year's the next financials budget making process. Therefore, she will come in at the right time so that this county is able to complete the process on time. I support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority, Deputy Majority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise in support of this motion that one Chepkorir Kapkiai be appointed as the Chief of Economic Planning. I am really elated by the magnitude of the vast knowledge she had when during the interview on matters finances, and this department, Mr. Speaker, sir, was previously held by one Madam Millicent, and I found out that women are so good in matters planning, matters economics of scale, and this economies of scale, Mr. Speaker. I think they are good. They are mothers who are plan homes and they know how to adequately plan the whole day for a family. And this family of Wasingishu, I saw it that this lady, one that was among the seven CEOs being vetted, is equal to the task, Mr. Speaker, sir. Not because she was the only lady, but she is equal above even other men on this docket, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to say that the knowledge, the first knowledge and the roles in the finance department in economic planning she has and understands, having being a holder of bachelor's degree in business administration and also a CPAK, an ISPAC member, all's actually what entails economic planning. The first 8 years experience in the field of management and banking sector will also add adequately to the performance of this county. Mr. Speaker, sir, we've seen the need and the willingness to. She's gone heights that she's currently pursuing a doctorate degree in philosophy in finance, and she has also a master's degree in business administration. That illustrates very well that all matters planning, all matters finances, all matters reporting, all matters accounting, and the balancing of those economies will be adequately dealt with. I stand, Mr. Speaker, to say that one Ms. Victorine Gapkiei has the potential to take this county and the finance and economic department to greater heights. I stand to support this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. I will now put a question that this County Assembly do adopt the 5th report of the Committee on Finance, Budget and Appropriation on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, Economic Planning, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Will as many of the same opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next, Honorable Nathan Maina, on behalf of Honorable Koski, continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I beg to move the motion on behalf of the chair, members, and House as a whole, that the County Assembly do adopt the first report on the Committee on ICT, E-Government and Innovation on vetting of nominee for appointment of the Chief Officer, ICT, E-Government and Innovation, dated 11th April 2023 and tabled in this Honorable House to date of April 2023 with or without amendment. Mr. Speaker, as a member of the committee, the report contains proceeding on special committee on ICT, e-government and innovation during the vetting of Mr. Felix Kimaru, nominee for the appointment of Chief Officer for ICT and e-government. In compliance with Section 5 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act number 5 of 2017, the clerk of the County Assembly placed the advertisement in the Daily Nations of Thursday, 23rd March, informing the public on the nomination date, time, place, approval hearing. He also invited the public to submit memorandum by way of written statement or on oath affidavit or suitability of the nominee in conformity with Section 7, Subsection 10 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act number 5 of 2017. The memoranda were to be received on the date on or before 30th March 2023 at the close of business, the close of submission deadline. The committee had not received any memoranda for or against the nominee suitability. The nominee appeared before the committee on Friday, 31st March 2023. The committee examined the nominee suitability based on criteria set out in Section 7 of the Public Appointment Act number 5 of 2017. In addition, the committee examined his academic credential, relevant experience, knowledge, sector issues, matters of leadership, integrity. The committee paid due regard on the procedure used to arrive at the nominee, the constitutional or statutory requirement relating to the office in question, and suitability of the nominee for appointment proposed, having regards to whether the nominee abilities, experience, and qualities meet the needs for respective county department. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Sectoral Committee on ICT, E-Government and Innovation, and pursuant to Section 45, subsection 1B of the County Government Act 2012 and Section 7 of the Public Appointment Act number 5 of 2017, the provision of Standing Order number 5, subsection 1. It is my pleasure, it is my pleasant duty on behalf of the Chair to present the report on the Committee on ICT, E-Government, Innovation, on vetting of Felix Kimaru, nominee for the appointment of Chief Officer, ICT, E-Government and Innovation. Mr. Speaker, on the mandate of the committee, the County Assembly Committee on ICT, E-Government and Innovation is one of the sectoral committee of the County Assembly established under Standing Order number 202, subsection 1, whose function pursuant to Standing Order number 202, subsection 5, 1, to vet and report on all appointments where the Constitution or any law requires the County Assembly to approve. Mr. Speaker, the committee membership is as indicated below, because I think every member has the report. The Secretariat, Mr. Speaker, sir, is the committee is validated by the following Secretariat: Cornelius Kipkoskei, that's the Clerk Assistant, Linet Angela Chepkoech as a editor, and Victor Troitich. Mr. Speaker, all the members, or ownership of the report, all the members who are members, because we are 9 of us, we approved and we've signed. Only one member who was not around yesterday has not signed, but we have all signed, except one. Background information. Legal framework. Mr. Speaker, Section 45 of the County Government Act 202 provides that appointment of county officers, county chief officers, 45 subsection 1 states this way: the governor shall nominate qualified and experienced county officers from among persons competitively resourced and recommended by the County Public Service Board, and with the approval of the County Assembly, appoint chief officers. In light of this, His Excellency the Governor nominated 7 persons of the appointment of chief officers to various county government departments. The Governor nominated the following person for the appointment of chief officer, Department of ICT, E-Government and Innovation. That is Mr. Felix Kimaru, nominee for chief Officer, ICT, E-Government and Innovation. The Sectorial Committee on ICT, E-Government and Innovation was assigned the role of vetting of the aforementioned nominee. The Public Appointments Act number 5 of 2017. Mr. Speaker, Section 8 of the Public Appointments Act number 5 of 2017 provides for the issues which the County Assembly is supposed to consider in relation to any nomination. The issues of consideration by the relevant County Assembly Committee in relation to any nomination shall be the procedure used to arrive at the nominee, including the criteria for the short listing of the nominee. B, any constitutional statutory requirement relating to the office in question. And C, the suitability of the nominee for the appointment proposed, having regards to whether the nominee credential ability, experience, qualities meet the need for the body to which the nomination is being made. As far as Chapter 6 is concerned, Mr. Speaker, sir, there is the nominee was able to provide all the requisite requirement, which we actually checked, and we noted that it was in order. Mr. Speaker, notification to the public, Mr. Speaker, Section 6, subsection 9 of the Public Appointment Act of number 5 of 2017 provides that any person may, prior to the approval hearing and by written statement on oath, provide the clerk with evidence contesting the suitability of candidate to hold the office to which the candidate has been nominated, which was done, Mr. Speaker. Committee proceeding. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee, having received the name of the nominee, was obliged to conduct approval hearing and make determination of the nominee suitability. Otherwise, within 21 days, as provided in Section 9, subsection 1 of Public Appointment Act number 5 of 2017. Approval hearing. Mr. Speaker, the committee examined the nominee using the guidelines provided in the Public Appointment Act number 5 of 2017. The committee also considered the following in vetting the nominee: academic qualification, employment record and work experience, professional association, public office, political activities and affiliation, potential conflict of interest, suitability to the position, tax compliance, vision and leadership, integrity, expectation, and key priorities. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Felix Kimaru was orally interviewed by the committee and responded on various issues. Mr. Speaker, having conducted the interview, we noted that Mr. Kimaru was well versed with IT. That as members we noted that it was good, and he was so well, he could articulate all the issues concerning IT. And it got to a point that we thought, as members, being in the era of technology, it is good to have such a person to lead us in this sector. The nominee gave us a background on where he has actually worked, and he gave us several companies where he had actually worked as a manager, and we felt it was wonderful. On his plan for the County Department on ICT, E-Government and Innovation, the nominee highlighted the key areas he will address once approved. He said that he will enhance ICT infrastructure within the county. That is one. Number two, install cloud server for data storage. Build internet hotspots across the county. Ensure that the county headquarters has ICT, has 1 GB of internet speed. Ensure there is 500 MPS internet speed on sub-county offices, digitalize all county government services, build an ICT hub in each of the sub-county offices, creation of digital villages within the wards to enhance skill development. Number 9, scout for partnership with the private sector, NGOs and other multinationals under public-private partnership approach. Push for one login for all services and ensure that all data sits in one server. That is, actually said, it told us that that one will actually ensure the security on our system. Committee observations. Mr. Speaker, the committee observations were guided by Section 45 of the County Government Act 2012, Section 8 of Public Appointment Act number 5 of 2017 in terms of issues for consideration as follows. This is what we consider: the procedure used to arrive at the nominee, any constitutional or statutory requirement relating to the office in question, suitability of the nominee, nominee for the appointment proposed, having regard whether the nominee ability, experience, and qualities meet the need on the body which the nominee is made. Committee observations. We observed that Mr. Speaker, we observed that Mr. Felix, in making this observation, the suitability of Mr. Felix was appointment to the position of Chief Officer, ICT, E-Government and Innovation. The committee took into account the following: the provision of the Constitution, the County Government Act 2012, the Public Appointments Act number 5 of 2017 with regard to the process of appointing the officer, the views received from the public, the vetting questionnaire filled and returned by the nominee, the academic and professional certificates submitted by the nominee, the oral submission made by the nominee during the approval. The committee observed as follows: the nominee has complied with the submitted all the clearance certificate, that no affidavit was received from the public against Felix Kikimaru, that the nominee has progressed methodically to achieve the academic qualification. Mr. Speaker, on committee, what we recommended, having vetted him and actually noted all that he had actually told us, the committee recommendation was as follows: having considered the suitability, capacity, and integrity of the nominee, and pursuant to subsection 30D and 45 subsection 1B of County Government Act, section 9(2), subsection 2 of Public Appointments Act number 5 of 2017, the committee recommended that the county approves the appointment of Mr. Felix to the position of Chief Officer, ICT, E-Government and Innovation. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the committee registered its appreciation to the Office of the Speaker, the Office of the Clerk, to the County Assembly, and the Committee Secretariat for the logistical support extended during the vetting process. In addition, the committee thanked the nominee for his cooperation during the vetting process, acknowledge and appreciate members for their patience, sacrifice, and commitment, which enabled the committee to complete the task within the required timeline. Mr. Speaker, I urge the Honorable House to pass this report and approve the name of the nominee appointment without amendment. The report has been signed by the chair. Mr. Speaker, as I move the motion, we are in the world of IT and technology. Mr. Speaker, the nominee was so conversant with technology that I thought, even with time, he can actually give us some history on the good things that he's ever done, because it was wonderful. And this, Mr. Speaker, I beg to give Member Honorable Wachira to second.
Honorable Wachira.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa fursa na nafasi hii ambaye umenipatia. Kwanza nimesimama hapa kuunga mkono vile mheshimiwa mwenzangu amesema kuhusiana na Bwana Felix Kimaru ambaye yeye ni mmoja wa wale ambao majina yao yamekuja hapa katika bunge letu, na mimi ninaamini kabisa kwa sababu teknolojia yetu katika taifa la Kenya na jimbo hili imebadilika, na yeye kumwangalia na yale mazungumzo alikuwa naye na mambo ambayo aliyafanya, tukaona yangu, bila shaka sina wasiwasi kusema ya kwamba anatosha na ako tayari kutuendesha katika hatua ingine. Utakubaliana na mimi ya kwamba kwa mara ya kwanza mambo mengi ya kiteknolojia katika taifa letu la Kenya na jimbo hili inatungoja sisi wenyewe. Na huyu ndugu wetu Felix Kimaru ni mkakamavu, mtu mjasiri, msomi, na ana mambo mengi ambaye tukimsikiliza na kumfuata, bila shaka ninaamini ya kwamba jimbo letu la Uasin Gishu itaenda mbele. Vile vile nataka nichukue fursa hii kushukuru gavana wetu Mheshimiwa Chelilim Arap B kwa sababu alitumia ujuzi wake na nafasi yake kuona ya kwamba anapeana nafasi hii kwa yule ambaye anafaa kupewa nafasi hiyo. Kwa hivyo nampatia kongole na heko na kusema ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nimesimama kuunga mkono na ninaamini na najua nguzo 10 ndani yake mambo ya teknolojia itapata fursa na nafasi ya kubebea. Asante sana.
Thank you, honorable members. I will now propose a question that this County Assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on ICT, E-Government and Innovation on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of the Chief Officer, ICT, E-Government and Innovation, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Debate. Honorable Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to make my contribution as I stand to support the motion concerning the CEO in charge of ICT and e-government. Mr. Speaker, as earlier mentioned, the whole world is becoming a global village. And we start with our county. And I've realized, Mr. Speaker, this is the right person who will help us improve our technology in terms of information and technology in our county. Mr. Speaker, we cannot run away from technology. Whether we like it or not, this is the right thing, and it is good for all of us that we have people who are passionate about technology, will help us improve as we go to the e-government and even innovation in helping our youth, even in creating employment through technology. So, Mr. Speaker, I stand to support this motion that this House adopts the appointment of the nomination of the CEO who will be in charge of technology and e-government and innovation in our county. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the nomination of Mr. Felix Kimaru as the CEO for ICT. Given that the world is becoming a global village, Mr. Speaker, and ICT plays the major role, especially when it comes to improving employment and communication. automating of the businesses, and in the connection of the boundaries. You find out that, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to ICT, it becomes faster for communication. And since Uasin Gishu is now becoming very vibrant, and it requires that we connect our wards, we connect our businesses, we connect the communication between our wards and the leadership here. We need a faster communication, and ICT plays the major role. When it comes to research, it is easier because you can get the information from one point to another and send to the required institutions faster when it comes to ICT. And because the youth in our time today get employment through internet, the employment is there. They can work at home very fast and easier, get paid. And since it's since it plays a major role in employment, Mr. Speaker, when we find people who are vast and have knowledge in that area of ICT, like Mr. Felix coming in, and I think it's the first time we would be connecting our wards with ICT. When it comes here, the knowledge, the first knowledge he has, will help us fast track the services in our wards, the services in our respective departments. So that I remember the governor saying he wants the people of Uasin Gishu from given wards getting information from that area where they are, like paying the required taxes, maybe for the land, getting the licenses, registering businesses. It becomes easier because you get it from that area where you come from. Then you don't need to travel to this town, Eldred, to get the same service. So I believe when it comes in, Mr. Felix will play a major role in fostering these processes, that our wards are connected and our youths can work even from home, and the services get to the required people on the ground. So, Mr. Speaker, I support that let's allow Mr. Felix come in as the chief officer for the ICT. I support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. I'll now put a question that this county assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on ICT, Government and Innovation on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, ICT, Government and Innovation, dated 11th April 2023 and tabled in this honorable house today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Will as many of the similar opinions say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of the contrary opinions say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable Mrs. Kibene.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Let me take this opportunity to thank this House, and I also beg to move the following motion. First, report on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of the Chief Officer, Lands and Physical Planning. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Section 330D of the County Government Act 2012 and in accordance with Article 179(2)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, His Excellency the Governor, Honorable Jonathan Cheleli-Mbi, nominated Mr. Nathan Korir for the appointment to the as Chief Officer, Lands and Physical Planning. The nominee was conveyed to the nomination was conveyed to the Speaker of the County Assembly on 14th March 2023 through letter reference UGC as stated on page 3. The nominee CV and were enclosed in the letter pursuant to Standing Order number 51. The Speaker of the County Assembly on Wednesday, 15th March 2023, read the communication from His Excellency the Governor communicating the names of the House, the names to the House on the nomination of Chief Officer pursuant to provision of Section 45 of the County Government Act 2012, Section 5(7) of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act number 5 of 2017 and Standing Order number 51(3) of County Assembly of Uasin Gishu. The clerk of the County Assembly placed an advertisement in the print media on 23rd March 2023, inviting the public to submit memorandum by way of writing statements and on oath, affidavit on the suitability or otherwise of each nominee, as well as the venue and time for the vetting. The nominee appeared before the Committee of Lands and Physical Planning on Monday, 3rd April 2023 from 2:30 p.m. at the County Assembly premises in accordance with the provision of Article 179 of the Constitution of Kenya and Section 5 of the Public Appointment County Assemblies Approval Act number 5 of 2017 and the Standing Order number 51 of the suitability or otherwise for the appointment of the position of Chief Officer. Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the members of the Committee on Lands and Physical Planning and pursuant to the provision of Section 5 of the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act number 5, 2017 and the Standing Orders number 51, it is my honor and duty to present to this Honorable House the committee's report on the vetting of Mr. Nathan Korir, nominee for the appointment of Chief Officer Lands and Physical Planning. The committee mandate, among other, is as follows: to vet and report all appointments where the Constitution or any law requires the County Assembly to approve, except those under Standing Orders number 197, Committee on Appointment. Also, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee membership is stated on page 5. I, Moses Kebenei, MCS Imad Kapsaret, being the chair, and also the secretariat. We had Naomi Serem, clerk to the committee, Jacqueline Chepkemei, answered, Sharon Kwambai, Sergeant Atam. The committee has 11 members, as stated on page 5 of the report. And also, when you look at page 6, all the members except one, who Mheshimiwa Francis Muya, who two, except two, Mheshimiwa Francis Muya and Mheshimiwa Sarah Malel, all of them were in the committee. The two didn't sign because when they were out of station. Okay, Mr. Speaker, sir, on Wednesday, 15th May 2023, the name of the nominee for the position of County Chief Officer Lands and Physical Planning was together tabled with the CV and CV curriculum vitae and was communicated to the Committee on Lands and Physical Planning. The date of the public hearing was set for Monday, 3rd April 2023 and was advertised in the Daily Nation newspaper dated 23rd March 2023 and was in Gishu County Assembly website. The nominee was notified of the date and required documents to bring along. The public was also invited to submit any information, memorandum, petition that may have a bearing on the selection of the candidate by Tuesday, 30th March 2023 at 5 p.m. Committee meetings were held here as stated earlier. Issuance of consideration during the approval hearing. In conducting the vetting process, the Committee on Lands and Physical Planning examined the nominee against the following criteria, among others: academic qualification, employment record, professional association, political affiliation, potential conflict of interest, overall suitability for the position, tax compliance, integrity, credit, reference bureau, ethics, and anti-corruption commission. The background information of the nominee: name is Mr. Nathan Kipkemei Korir, nationality is Kenyan, date of birth 21st January 1987, marital status married, and education background, starting with the currently starting 2016 to date, is still doing Masters in Logistics and Supplies, Moi University, 2007, Bachelor of Business Management, Purchasing and Supplies Management, Moi University, 2007 to 2015, Certified Public Accounts, Strathmore School of Business, 2016, Certified Procurement and Supplies Professional of Kenya, Part 1, Strathmore School of Business, 2022, Certified Secretaries, Strathmore School of Business. And as I proceed, employment record or work experience. He has worked as a Chief Executive Officer, Trans-African Safaris Limited, 2009 to date, 2019 to date, Operations Manager, Frontier Farms Limited, 2016 to 2019, Procurement Manager, Tulo Oil and Gas Company Limited, 2014-2016, Accountant, Kenya Seed Company, 2009 to 2014. He has also worked as a teller at KREP Bank, 2007 to 2009, Professional Association, Kenya Institute of Supplies Management, KISM, Institute of Certified Public Accounts, Kenya, ISPAC, Kenya Institute of Management, KIM. Potential conflict of interest. There were no areas that could create any conflict of interest according to the filed questionnaire that was attached. Overall suitability for the position. Mr. Nathan Kipkemei Korir demonstrated that he is a team player and is willing to work with employees from other departments in executing his duties. This was evident from his submission on how he has worked with teams and fostering teamwork when he worked as an operations manager at Frontier Farms Limited. He also demonstrated leadership, negotiation, and mediation skills. He promised that if granted the opportunity, he will ensure that Ministry of Lands and County Government enforce compliance of the existing processes and procedures on land transaction. He demonstrated that he is willing to produce consistent and accurate results even under pressure. He narrates how he handled pressure working as Chief Executive Officer at Trans-East Africa Safaris Limited. He proved that he has skills in accounting system and procedures, i.e. preparation of annual budget, schedule expenditures, analysis, variance, and initiate corrective action plan. He also stated that he will ensure that all public land which have been grabbed will be reverted back to the county government. He is also willing to ensure digitalization of all land rates within the county to improve efficiency, boost government revenue, and secure land documents by engaging stakeholders to support the department through financial support. He also as per the requirements of Chapter 6 requirement of the Constitution, he met all of them. That the nominee appeared before the committee and excelled by scoring on average of 78.6%. The committee found the nominee suitable for appointment. Committee recommendation. Mr. Speaker, sir, having considered the suitability capacity and integrity of the nominee, taking account of its finding and observation and the provisions of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the Public Appointments County Assembly Approvals Act number 5 of 2017 and Section 45 of the County Government Act 2012, the committee hereby recommend that the County Assembly approve the nomination of Mr. Nathan Kipkemei Korir as Chief Officer Land and Physical Planning, by His Excellency the Governor of Uasin Gishu County. In conclusion, the Committee on Land and Physical Planning is grateful to the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly for their immense support and facilitation during the writing of this report. I also wish to extend my appreciation to all honorable members and the Secretariat of this committee for tirelessly working and coming up with this detailed report. Mr. Speaker, sir, I urge this Honorable House to pass this report and approve the name of the nominee for appointment without amendments. I beg to move. I propose Mheshimiwa Isaac Chirchir, member representing the great people of Soy, to second.
Yes, continue, Deputy Majority.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to second the motion that Mr. Nathan Korir be appointed as the Chief of the Lands. Mr. Speaker, I do second this motion because one, land is a very emotive component of life. It is where all human settlement, all infrastructure, all other matters relating to livelihood is situated. It's the first creation of God. And Mr. Speaker, sir, this needs a very, very neat person of integrity. And if you find that this gentleman was cleared by EACC, he has been cleared by, is tax compliant. And Mr. Speaker, he has demonstrated that he is a team player. This is a department that needs more consultation because of the nature of the matter, because it has both historical issues, land has historical injustices, and has the current injustices, and also is an element where during planning of every investment, it is planned majorly on land. 90% of our investments is done on land. So thus, this needs a person who is compassionate to matters dispute resolutions, a person who can provide leadership in times of difficulties on matters land. It needs a person which character is being held by this gentleman, one Nathan Korir, that at this time in point, land is the provider of the biggest percentage of our land rates, Mr. Speaker. So in Uasin Gishu County, we are in the process of making a valuation roll that will attract revenue collections to surpass even 1 billion, but it is the duty of this officer that is coming in to make sure that in the next financial year, that process is done for us to enable us collect enough revenues. Again, Mr. Speaker, the matter of buying land, if you see in our ADP and CIDP, members have put money in land banking. Whereas in the same county, Mr. Speaker, we have the largest chunks of land that lies public lands that have been grabbed, public lands that are lying idle. This is the time that the CEO lands should take to bring in policies and measures and regulations on the usage and change of use for these very important parcels that could assist us not to be buying so many parcels of land, whereas we have enough parcels of land in our county. Again, Mr. Speaker, sir, the process of digitization, making sure that you get your land records on a phone, in a computer, in systems, is now. This man has shown in his management career that he has been holding logistics of greater magnitudes to Talo Oils, to other companies in East Africa, East and Central Africa, that he is able to actually account for this digitization and carry the process through in the next financial year, so that in Uasin Gishu can get the people of Uasin Gishu can get to know about their land parcels at land level and plan development as well. The issue of land titling is enormous. We have parcels without land titles, and the owners are not getting credit for their parcels. So as we learn the first experience of in the areas of work, that one career will deliver this matter. Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand to second.
Thank you, honorable members. I'll propose a question that this county assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on Lands and Physical Planning on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, Lands and Physical Planning, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this honorable house today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Oh, Washira.
Yes, asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Itakuwa makosa Mheshimiwa Spika akutaje na ukose kusimama. Kwa hivyo mimi nasimama kuunga mkono na tunaendelea vizuri. Asante.
Honorable Caroline.
Honorable Speaker, I stand again to support the nomination, the adoption of the report for nomination of this particular nominee for lands and for nominee for lands. My reasons being those as espoused by the chair lands, and he has talked at length about this nominee. And because we still have a lineup of other reports to table, I leave my word of supporting his nomination. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minority.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Lands Department is a very sensitive department, and as per the report from the committee, I want to support the approval of the said nominee, but I want to say it here categorically that in Uasin Gishu and in many counties, but I am leaving that. I want to concentrate in Uasin Gishu and especially Eldoret town. We have public utilities that has been encroached, and we know the land grabbers use the proceed of the same lands to fight the government or those who are pursuing the same land. Therefore, the nominee need to be well equipped, very ready to tackle this issue. Currently, we have an issue in Kapsoya Ward. We have other issue in Elgon View that is even leading to the proposal of changing of the land registrar who have been working very well. Therefore, the nominee need to come very well prepared to protect what belongs to the people and to protect the lands that belong for public use. Currently, as a county government, we want to build official residential houses for the governor, for the deputy governor, and for the speaker of the Uasin Gishu county, because it is a requirement from the controller of budget that going forward, that the three officers, state officers, need to have official residence. And Mr. Speaker, this ought to have been done, but because most of the public lands that were set aside by the then defunct council, most of them have been encroached. We have not initiated this, despite us putting this money in the budget. Therefore, the nominee need to come. I'm just saying, he need to come well prepared psychologically, and even emotionally to make sure that we put things right. I support the report. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. I will now put a question that this county assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee of Lands and Physical Planning on vetting of nominee for appointment at the office of Chief Officer, Lands and Physical Planning, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this honorable house today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Will as many of the similar opinions say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinions say nay? The ayes have it. Thank you. Honorable members. Honorable members, before I give the second for another motion, I want to pass this communication. Understanding order number 32, and also understanding order number 1 of exercising my discretion as a speaker, and seeing there is still some business to transact at this time. I want to give the communication that this whole stand will not be adjourned until all matters have been discussed. So that is my order. Continue, Honorable David Tarus.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the motion that this County Assembly to adopt the first report of the Committee on Administration and Devolution on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution, as earlier tabled in this Honorable House, Mr. Speaker, today, 12th April 2023, without amendments. Honorable Speaker, allow me go through the report as tabled, Honorable Speaker, and I'll move and request that I bypass the forward, because later on in the report we'll be meeting the same. The forward is the requirement, the procedure for which this nominee was introduced in this Honorable House. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the members of the Committee on Devolution, Legal Affairs and Public Administration, and pursuant to provisions of Section 5 of the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act number 5 of 2017 and Standing Order number 51, it is my honor and duty to present to this Honorable House the Committee's report on the vetting of the nominee for the appointment as the Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution. Honorable Speaker, this committee was duly established through the standing order of this Assembly and the Constitution of Kenya 2010. The mandate of the committee, Honorable Speaker, among the mandates is vet and report on all appointments where the Constitution or any law requires the County Assembly to approve, except those under the Standing Order number 197, Committee on Appointments, and make reports and recommendations to the House as often as possible, including recommendation of proposed legislation. Mr. Speaker, the committee has a membership of 11 honorable members, led by Chair Honorable David Tarus. And the committee secretariat includes Mrs. Miriam Sawe, Director Human Resource, Mr. Victor Birken, Clerk to the committee, Mr. Ebenezer Sanga, Hansard Reporter, and Mr. Ruben Omwiri as Sergeant at Arms. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Section 30D of the County Government Act 2012 and in accordance with Article 179(2)B of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, His Excellency the Governor nominated the underlisted person for appointment as Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution. The name Mark Kipkemboi Some, Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution, gender male, of ID number that is stated there. Honorable Speaker, on March 15th, 2023, pursuant to Standing Order number 551-4, the Speaker of the County Assembly read the message from His Excellency the Governor communicating the names to the House on nomination of various Chief Officers. This included Mr. Mark Kipkemboi Some as Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution. On Thursday, 23rd March 2023, the Clerk of the County Assembly placed an advertisement in the print media inviting members of the public to submit memoranda on the suitability or otherwise of the nominee on or before 30th March 2023. The Clerk of the County Assembly on Thursday, 23rd March 2023, invited nominee through the print media for approval hearing on Friday, 31st March 2023, in accordance to Section 5 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act 2017. Pursuant to provisions of Article 179(2), Honorable Speaker, of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and Section 5 of the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act, the Governor notified the County Assembly of the nomination of Mr. Mark Kipkemboi Some as the Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution. Mr. Speaker, no memoranda on memoranda from members of the public in respect of the nominee as required. Mr. Speaker, no memoranda were received from the public on or before 30th March 2023 as indicated in the print media. Honorable Speaker, the members of the committee signed and appended their signatures on the report as shown, Honorable Speaker, for approval of this report. During its sittings held on Friday, 31st March 2023 at the County Assembly Main Committee Room, the Committee on Devolution, Legal Affairs and Administration vetted Mr. Mark Kipkemboi Some on his suitability for the position as Chief Officer, Administration and Legal and Devolution. Honorable Speaker, the committee, having considered the nominee's field questionnaire, his CV, and having had his oral submission during the approval hearing, made the following observation on his suitability for appointment as Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution. Background in Mr. Mark Kipkemboi Some was born and raised in Mosorio at Nandi County in the year 1975. He later moved to Uasin Gishu County in the year 2006, where he has lived to date. In regards to his academic qualification, Honorable Speaker, the committee noted that he is currently pursuing his master's in agribusiness management in University of Eldoret. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in agribusiness management and trade from Kenyatta University in the year 2019. He holds a certificate in computer programming from Kenyatta University, that is 1999. He went to Moi High School, Sirgoi, from 1992 to 1996. He went to Tebeson Primary from the year 1984 to 1991. He is currently the head of technical subject and teaches agriculture in Socioni Mixed Day Secondary School. He worked at Nature Conservancy as a consultant in the year 2018 to 2019. He worked as a presiding officer for the Independent Electoral and Primaries Commission, IEBC, in 2016 by-election. He also worked as a deputy presiding officer in the commission in 2013. Between 2007 to 2013, he worked for Stanmark Limited as a director, administration and finance. He worked for Masop Constituency Development Fund, CDF, as a field extension finance manager. In the year 2004-2005, he worked at KEL Chemicals as a regional field extension officer. North Rift region. He worked as a teacher in Cheptolio Secondary School in the year 2003. The nominee has also participated in various training and workshops, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the committee observed that he is a team player and is willing to work with employees from other departments in executing his duties. This is evident from his work experience that he is an expert in strategic partnership, identification, development, event planning, monitoring, and evaluation. That he possesses good communication skills. For instance, Mr. Speaker, he was vetted in both Swahili and English, and he had good command of both, Honorable Speaker. That he has leadership, negotiation, and mediation skills. That he has relevant working experience for the job applied for. That he meets the Chapter 6 requirement of the Constitution. That the nominee is suitable for the position. Among other observations, Honorable Speaker, is that the committee also noted that the nominee has changed jobs many times in his motivation, and his motivation was that he was going for greener pastures, and he believes in training and experience gained in different fields. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Section 5 of the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act, the committee also observed that the following nominee met the integrity and threshold and that he had the requisite ability, academic qualification, and professional experience to be approved for appointment. The nominee, Honorable Speaker, got the following, had 78% as the score. The mean of 78% as the score from the committee. Honorable Speaker, in recommendation, the committee, having conducted approval hearings for the nominee pursuant to Section 30D of the County Government Act 2012 and Standing Order number 51.5, the committee recommends that this House approves the nomination of Mr. Mark Kipkemboi Some as Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, the Committee on Devolution, Legal Affairs and Public Administration is grateful to the Office of the Honorable Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly for their immense support and facilitation during the writing of this report. I also wish to extend my appreciation to all honorable members and Secretariat for this committee for diligently working and coming up with this report on the nominee for the position of Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution. On behalf of the Committee on Devolution, Legal Affairs and Public Administration, I therefore urge this Honorable House to adopt this report on the nominee for the position of Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution as presented without amendments. Honorable Speaker, I wish to request my able deputy, Honorable Caroline Cherono, to second this report, and I move, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Caroline.
Thank you once again, Honorable Speaker. I stand to second the adoption of the report on the nomination of Mark Kipkemboi Some as the Chief Officer for Devolution and Public Administration. As the Vice Chair of this committee, Honorable Speaker, we ensured as a committee that we followed and was guided by the relevant instruments, and one of them is as read by my very able chair. And apart from that, we were able to look out for other extras, such as the soft skills in the nominee and attributes. One of the things that really stood out is his resilience and eagerness to learn. Taking note of his academic credentials, you realize that there's a certificate in computer programming that he did in the year 1999. And after that, there was a break of hustling and working from one job to another in an effort to make a living, and thereafter taking himself back to school in 2019. In there, we saw a resilient soul that we actually need in this docket, mostly because of public administration, and I'll shortly tell you why. Honorable Speaker, enforcement is a key component in the public administration and is actually going to fall squarely under this chief officer or this nominee. We were therefore keen to look at his people skills. How does he relate with people? And we were able to tell this from his previous work environments. We wanted to see whether he's been exposed to something similar to what he's applying for. Being a teacher, explained to us that he's actually worked in a uniformed environment, in an environment that required law and order. That is actually what would demonstrate a school setup. And this I would actually equate because we are trying to look at the relevance of the experience of this particular nominee to this position. Also, my chair talked about his movement from one organization to the other and his effort in trying to make sure that he gets the best environment to work and to get exposure in different areas. That tells me that he has been exposed to the organizational dynamics, since the docket on devolution and public administration is not an island and is not a standalone. He will need to work with various stakeholders, and therefore it requires someone who has exposure on organizational dynamics. Kinley, being a teacher at Cheptolio Secondary School, meant that he had colleagues and he had students. This much as it is not related so much to what he's coming to do in terms of who the people are, but in this case, it is all about people skills. Working as a field extension manager in a CDF office, for us it convinced that somehow that he has an exposure on the structure of government, and that devolution, being part of his responsibilities, will require him to understand, to have an understanding of how the government works, and even the intergovernmental relations, since CDF is actually under national government and is joining the county government. As I sit down, Honorable Chair, I would like to repeat my submission that I'm requesting this House to adopt this report on this committee where I happen to be a member and a vice chair, on the nomination of one Mark Kipkemboi Some as the nominee for CEO, Devolution and Public Administration without amendments. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I will now propose a question that this county assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on Administration and Devolution on vetting of nominee for appointment to the office of Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution, dated 11th April 2023, and table in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Debate.
Honorable Kozgi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity that you've given me. As a member of the committee, I stand to support what my honorable chair has actually put across on the nomination of Mark Kipkemboi Some. Being a member of the committee, I actually saw that Mr. Mark Kipkemboi Some is resilient in terms of he could actually push through. Whatever he needs, he will get. So in terms of administration, he'll actually push through. During the interview, I actually joked and asked that God gave you a good body that you could actually tell someone not to come to the office, and through nobody could come because he's masculine. So at least it was a joke, but it was good that he could, he's a command of authority. He could actually see authority out of him. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support.
Honorable David Letting.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to, before I proceed, I want to support CEO of devolution, because devolution is under all department, because it is the same as the mother of the county. And we are here to support, which is anything good we have to support. And I want to congratulate our governor, because he have already tried to bring for us a good person who is learned, he have already worked in several departments. So when we are here to see anything good we have to support. And we don't have any jealousy in our heart. So we are ready to support and defend in each way. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't have much to say except to support a CEO of devolution in this house, Mr. Speaker, sir. So I support.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to support this motion. This man, Mr. Some, is a person who, I think, Mr. Speaker, he will be a great resource to this county, because number one, although his line of training, professional qualification, is not in the line that is applied for, but we at the committee level, Mr. Speaker, discussed and said this man will be able to support other departments, because, Mr. Speaker, as we have heard from the chair and the deputy chair, this man has a master of science in agribusiness management. Therefore, this county, we would wish at this point to ask the other arm of government to allow officers at various departments to support each other, to work as a team. This will actually improve the services given by the county government of Uasin Gishu. We found that very resourceful, Mr. Speaker, because this man, as we interviewed him, is so passionate. He understands the job ahead of him. But I don't envy him, Mr. Speaker. In this department, where he will be dealing with issues of administration, issues of enforcement, we know what happens in the streets of this town. The menace that we have. He will be controlling all those, making sure that there is sanity on our streets. Therefore, this man, Mr. Speaker, has a big job ahead of him if we approve him. And so, Mr. Speaker, we wish him well. When we approve him, we will also require him to appear in our committee so that we share the wealth of experience that these members have in terms of administration, in terms of the work in our wards. This man will be in charge of the sub-county administrators, the ward administrators, and later on when we have the village administrators on board, all of them will be under him. Therefore, he has a lot of work ahead of him, but we are glad that he understands clearly what his job entails. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I support the nomination of this gentleman, and I wish to ask the members to do so likewise. I support, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the nominee, and especially I will touch on area of enforcement. Mr. Speaker, you realize that our Kenya police are trained, especially when it comes to human rights. And I believe this nominee, and I pray that when he is accepted, he will be able to help train the enforcement officers in Uasin Gishu so that they know that, I'm the chairman of labor. And I know what it means when it comes to abuse of the rights of the citizens. And I pray that when he comes into office, he measures on that area, that he trains the enforcement officers to know the rights of the people they are governing. More so, we also talk about devolved units. And most of the time we say that the devolved units, the function, the funding must follow the function. And I believe he'll be able to check on that so that any devolved unit is also very well resourced. I support, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, honorable members. I will now put a question that this County Assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on Administration and Devolution on vetting of nominees for appointment of the Chief Officer, Administration and Devolution dated 11th April 2023 and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendments. Will as many of the similar opinions say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinions say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable minority, I know you are yawning, but we are almost there. Honorable Evans Kapke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I now move the motion that this County Assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on Trade, Industry, Investment, Tourism on vetting of nominee for appointment to the office of Chief Officer, Trade, Industry, Investment and Tourism, dated 11th April 2023, and tabled in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023, with or without amendment. Mr. Speaker, I believe that this report is in the floor of the House, and on behalf of the Sectoral Committee on Trade, Tourism and Industrialization, and pursuant to Section 8 of the Public Appointment, County Assembly's Approval Act Number 5 of 2017, and provision of Standing Orders 51-1, it is my pleasure to present the report of the Committee on the Approval Hearing of Mr. Elphas Kiprop Kesio, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Trade, Industry, Investment, Tourism, for debate and adoption by the House. Mr. Speaker, this report contains proceedings of the Sectoral Committee for the approval of the nominee for appointment as Chief Officer as requested by His Excellency the Governor and communicated to the House by the Speaker on Wednesday, 15 March 2023. Mr. Speaker, the nominee appeared before the committee on Friday, 31st March 2023 for vetting. The committee examined his suitability based on criteria set out in Section 7 of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act Number 5 of 2017. This committee, Mr. Speaker, is one of the sectoral committees in this County Assembly, established under Standing Order 2021 whose functions are pursuant to the standing order. And one of the functions, Mr. Speaker, is to vet and report on all appointments where the Constitution or any law requires the County Assembly to approve, except those under Standing Order 197, and also to make reports and recommendations to the House as often as possible, including recommendations of the approval of proposed legislation. In the report, Mr. Speaker, it contains the list of membership, and the committee has 11 members, and it also has 3 members of the secretariat. Mr. Speaker, when we were doing the vetting, the legal framework of this report is that we were considering the following articles of the Constitution and statutes, including Article 10 of the Constitution on national values and principles of governance, Article 78 of the Constitution on Article 232, Chapter 6 of the Constitution on leadership and integrity, the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act number 5 of 2017, the Leadership and Integrity Act number 19 of 2012, and Public Office Ethics Act number 4 of 2023. On approval hearing, Mr. Speaker, the following were some of the issues that we were considering as the committee. Number 1 is academic qualification, employment record and work experience, professional association, public office, political activities and affiliation, tax compliance, suitability, vision and leadership, integrity, expectation and key priorities. These are the observations of the committee, Mr. Speaker, that Elfas Kesho, Kiprop Kesho is a Kenyan citizen of identity card number 22940427 and was born in Kosajay, was in Kishu County in 1982. On education background, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Elfas Kesho holds a Bachelor's of Science in Horticulture from Egerton University. He did his KCSE in Chepisa Secondary School in 1997 to 2000. And on work experience, Mr. Speaker, the nominee had an accumulative experience of over 15 years in private sector, including serving as procurement manager of Kensal Rice Milling Limited. He also worked as production manager for Mikotio Plantations Limited and Kabarak Limited from 2011 to 2018, and also as an horticulture manager of Dehydrates East Africa Limited from 2007 to 2010. Mr. Speaker, the nominee satisfied the committee that he has no potential conflict of interest when given the position to serve as the chief officer, Mr. Speaker. And other observations, Mr. Speaker, is that the nominee had all requisite academic documents for the position applied. There was no affidavit received from the public against Mr. Elfas Kiprop Kesho. The nominee also had knowledge and understanding of matters to do with trade, industry, investment, tourism, and tourism. The nominee satisfied the requirements of Chapter 6 of the Constitution on leadership and integrity, having checked all the requirements from the DCI, the EACC, the HELP, and the tax compliance from the KRA. The nominee has not been charged in court of law nor convicted, neither was he adversely mentioned in any investigatory report. The nominee satisfied the requirements of Article 77(1) of the Constitution, where he does not intend to participate in any other gainful employment, and that he does not hold office in any political party, and that he has never been dismissed from office. The nominee is suitable to hold office as the chief officer and complied with all the necessary legal, constitutional, statutory, academic, professional requirements to hold the position as the chief officer. Having presented all the observations, Mr. Speaker, this is the committee recommendation. Having considered suitability, capacity, and integrity of the nominee, and pursuant to Article 155(3)(b) of the Constitution, Section 8(2) of the Public Appointment County Assemblies Approval Act Number 5, 2017, the committee recommends that this House approves the appointment of Mr. Elfas Kiprop Kesho to the position of Chief Officer, Trade, Industry, Investment, and Tourism. Mr. Speaker, I am requesting this Honorable House to consider approving or adopting this report and approving Elfas Kesho as the Chief Officer. And Mr. Speaker, our Chief Officer had served in public sector, especially in chain, in value addition, and then also he showed a lot of experience in developing industries and also in working to ensure that we support the upcoming enterprises. This county, Mr. Speaker, as you've heard, we have heard from His Excellency Governor that we are working on developing an industrial park in Uasin Gishu County. We are also working in bringing investors. And having worked in private sectors for all those years, having developed three companies that works on horticulture, we realized or we were satisfied as the committee that this nominee will add value to us in Gishu County. And I therefore request the members to support this report and request Honorable Patrick Kimeli, who is one of the members of the committee, to second the report. Welcome. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the appointment of Mr. Elfas Kiprop Kesho as Chief Officer for Trade, Tourism, and Industry. Mr. Speaker, you realize Mr. Kesho's experience. He has 15 years in the private sector dealing with business, and also, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Kesho also has served as a procurement officer or manager. Now that he's coming in with this vast experience to help us, especially in Uasin Gishu, on the sector of trade, tourism, and industry, you realize 90% or almost 100% of us as human beings, we deal with the trade daily. And that is our life. That is where we get bread. And when we have somebody who can deal with issues, especially that touches trade, on issues maybe in licensing, issues of trade disputes. Recently we had problems in Eldred involving market. And I believe when he comes in, he will help with his experience, maybe to help come up with resolutions so that we don't have problems in our marketplaces and a war between enforcement officers. We also have issues with revenue. There are those who pay, there are those who don't pay. We also have areas where revenues are very high, people pay high taxes. And when we allow him, during the interview, I saw Mr. Kesho, when he was explaining himself and the experience he has, I saw a man who is able to solve issues on the ground. Mr. Speaker, you realize also Nairobi is known as a city where we have the game park in town. And here we say we want to improve and have our own tourism attraction centers. And one of it, we are told we will be having animals here in the Sosani area. And I believe he's coming to make that be realizable. That when you come to Eldred also, we have a park here, and we have animals there, and our businesses are doing good. Our factories and industries are rising up. Now that Eldoret is number one, where the president comes, and investors are eyeing part of it. I believe Mr. Keshe will play a major role in making sure Uasin Gishu becomes an industrialized place, and many people will get jobs because we have issues with job in Uasin Gishu. We have people with experience, but no job. And my chair has also already touched on areas that the president and the governor are planning for industrial park in Uasin Gishu, where it will solve issues of unemployment. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Keshe has this experience. And if we allow him and give him space, and the experience he has, a very humble man, because businesses, you know, we have quarrels, fights everywhere. And being an humble man who is able to solve issues, I believe Mr. Keshe will play a major role. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I will now propose a question that this County Assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on Trade, Industry, Investment and Tourism on vetting of nominee for appointment to the Office of Chief Officer, Trade, Industry, Investment and Tourism dated 11th April 2023 and table in this Honorable House today, 12th April 2023 with or without amendments. Debate. Honorable, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to support the nominee, Elfas Keshe, for the position of CEO Trade. Mr. Speaker, first of all is that I'm not in that committee, but having known Mr. Elfas Keshe through the vetting that was being done here, Mr. Speaker, he showed the vast knowledge in terms of trade, and I want to believe, Mr. Speaker, that when given this opportunity to serve this county, he's going to do it diligently with a lot of integrity. One is that Mr. Keshe has been able to serve in the private sector for very many years, and having come from an humble background whereby he started working before he graduated because he was unable to graduate due to lack of fee clearance, but was able to be given that opportunity to work without papers, and he was able to deliver in that private sector. We want to believe that if given this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, is going to improve on our trade sector, and more so, I want to believe that there will be sanity within our traders who have always been running up and down because of lack of organization. I want to believe that one Elfas Keshe is going to really bring that sanity. Again, Mr. Speaker, from today's approving of our nominees for the CEO position, this is an encouragement to our community, to our youths, that it is important to pursue education. The reason why I'm saying so, Mr. Speaker, is to find that from the time we began this process of approving the names of the nominees, you find that most of them, none of them is below undergraduate. And therefore, this is a message that is going to the outside world of Uasin Gishu, that you don't have to sit back and relent on education, but they should be working on how to attain more and more qualification in terms of education development, so that at the end of the day, tomorrow, when need be for people who need to work in these offices, we shall be getting our youths taking the positions. I know, Mr. Speaker, most of our youths are discouraging one another and saying that even those who are learned are not getting employment. You can imagine today, Mr. Speaker, if I may go outside this, we had one youth who is below, is at 32 years, and he's been given that position as a CEO. That is so encouraging. Mr. Elfas Kesho also is coming in to show the electorates, the youth of Uasin Gishu, because he comes from Uasin Gishu, that it is possible for you to be an accounting officer within your county. And therefore, we want to say that this nominee, Elfas Kesho, is one of those people whom you may be thinking that they are very slow, but they do a lot. And they do their work perfectly. They are slow but sure in their doing. So when it comes to coming to the Department of Trade, I know you will not be able to rush to things and bring chaos in the department. This is one of those who will listen, are ready to interact and exchange notes with the honorable members, because that is what he said when he was being feted. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I do support one Elfas Kesho to be given the position of the CEO Trade. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to rise in support of appointment of Mr. Elvas Kesho as the Chief Officer, Trade and Industrialization. Mr. Speaker, sir, as you are aware that our county is the county of focus at the moment. Soon we are becoming the city. We are learning and hearing of so many industrial parks that are coming up. Those are industries. It needs somebody with resilience and focus on matters industrialization. We are learning of planning this city, the near coming city, in terms of sites of industrialization, service industry area, social areas, hospitality, and educational areas. It is high time to have a very acquainted knowledge with lots of resilience and policy-oriented and practice-oriented person of the caliber of Elvas Kesho that will deliver this city to its being. Trade and industrialization is a big task, and it's a task that is enough for Elfas Kesho to handle. In this, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are going out of our way as a county, and you are synchronizing with national government in coming up with our market areas, supermarket areas. It needs somebody who will consider every trade that matters for prosperity of this county. That when we will be planning from markets in the suburbs, markets in the towns, in the city, we will consider each and every resident of Uasin Gishu fairly to practice its trades and wares in a fair and a competitive manner to attract investors in this county. With that, Mr. Speaker, I second that Mr. Elvas Kesho be given the chance to serve this enormous county. Thank you.
I will now put a question that this county assembly do adopt the first report of the Committee on Trade, Industry, Investment and Tourism on vetting of nominee for appointment with the Office of Chief Officer, Trade, Industry, Investment and Tourism dated 11th April 2023 and tabled in this Honorable House today 12th April 2023 with or without amendments. Whereas many of the similar opinions say aye, whereas many of the contrary opinions say nay, the ayes have it. Honorable Julius Sang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to move the following motion that pursuant to Uasin Gishu County Assembly Standing Order number 28.3, this House do adjourn its sittings from Wednesday 12th April 2023 to Tuesday 16th May 2023 to proceed for long recess as per the Uasin Gishu County Assembly calendar. The Speaker, this House is a house of rules and procedures. As we know, we have a calendar that we follow religiously. Mr. Speaker, it is important that members are allowed to take some break from the work that we have. We know that honorable members do not tire, but they need to rest a little so that when they come back, they are fresh and ready to serve this county of Uasin Gishu. So, Speaker, I request the House that we approve this adjournment so that, Mr. Speaker, beginning tomorrow and for the next 1 month, members can have opportunity to have time with their families, have time with their electorate. The Speaker, we've been in this House for some time. We've interacted and had so many business. I want at this point, as the leader of majority, to thank you and the leadership and all the honorable House, the Speaker, for all the businesses we've been able to pass through this in this House. And Mr. Speaker, we have put in so many hours in order to make sure that businesses of this House are passed. Mr. Speaker, this day is exceptional because, Mr. Speaker, members have really sacrificed their time. We have had so many businesses, and this is the way to go. I was talking to a number of members when I stepped outside, and Mr. Speaker, this is a really exceptional show for our members when we debate for these many hours. Because, Mr. Speaker, we've been given this opportunity by the people of this county so that we can serve them in terms of legislation, in terms of oversight. And, Mr. Speaker, I know we have done that religiously. And so, Mr. Speaker, I request the House, as we go on recess, I want at this point to wish all members the very best as you recede to stay with your families, to what we normally say TLC, and that is tender loving care to your families. I want to wish you well. I want to wish you the very best, God's blessings, and I know, Mr. Speaker, you've planned for some activities that will also bring together members as we are on recess. I want to wish you also well as we execute those activities outside this house, and that will give us more energy when we come back. So with those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I request the House to approve this adjournment motion, and at this point I wish to request the Honorable Deputy Speaker to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I also take this opportunity to second the motion that has been moved by the Leader of Majority and thank honorable members for the period we have been transacting to today that we want to adjourn if they agree with us for this recess of 1 month. Honorable Speaker, recess times gives us time to interact with our electorate, find out what is happening on the ground, do some little oversight on the ground for the works that are going on, and also collect some few challenges so that when we come back, Honorable Speaker, we come back legislating on how to mitigate on the same issues. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that this period of time is also giving us an opportunity. We can all recall, Honorable Speaker, that even the head of state, while he was on this short holiday, Easter holiday, he was busy also in the farm, doing something to contribute to the our food gallery. So it is a high time also as honorable members to go also and plan the little acre that we have and also do some weeding in our small farms and also encourage our electorates to do the same, Honorable Speaker, so that we can all bring the cost of living down as anticipated by many. So this is a very good period that is giving us that opportunity, Honorable Speaker, and we also get to interact very much about our electorate. I would like to urge honorable members that we do support this motion so that we can go for this recess. Nonetheless, Honorable Speaker, I know while we will be on our recess, quite a number of activities from the Governor's Cup activity that is kicking off from tomorrow also, we shall be engaging ourselves and bringing our youth together so that we can bring them from engaging in other activities that does not really augur well with their health. So, Honorable Speaker, I totally want to second this motion and urge this Honorable House that we do agree with us that we adjourn. Thank you, Speaker. I do second.
Thank you, honorable members. I will now give some few members to contribute to this adjournment motion. Then we will proceed. Honorable Amos.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also give my views in regard to this motion of adjournment. Mr. Speaker, I want to first and foremost thank each and every one of us, led by you, Honorable Speaker, for having guided us all through since we began this session. And Mr. Speaker, now that it is a procedural that once in a while or after a certain period, we have a break so that we can discharge other responsibilities as it is well provided in the law, that one of our roles is to legislate, secondly, to oversight, and also to represent. Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate members for the legislation that we have been able to dispense in this House. And now, Mr. Speaker, we have another opportunity to go and follow up as a way of representing our electorate and also doing our oversight, knowing very well that it is heading towards the close of the financial year. And a number of programs have been initiated by different departments. So now it is our golden opportunity also to see how it's being done, so that as we prepare for the next budget, we know where to budget and where not to provide for. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, it's very important for us also to take a rest and also have time with our families. We need also to appreciate the fact that in this House we are so blessed. We have men of God like Bishop Patrick Melly. Before he became a politician, he served in the office of a bishop. We also want to give him time to go and over the spiritual services to those of us who are fallen the short of glory and restore us back so that when Jesus comes for the second time, we might see him. So, Mr. Speaker, it is very important. And for the young families like UpCare, it's also a golden opportunity to invest. You see, as politicians, votes are very crucial. And votes are numbers. So we are looking forward to get more numbers. And they know very well how to go about it, because tomorrow's journey starts today. As he plans to stand for the governor's seat 2042, he should also lead by example, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, and for the old men like Koko and I think it's high time we can say and rename our grandchildren. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to support this recess, and then I want to say thank you, Honorable Amos, for giving us our challenges. But what I want to say, I am a farmer by profession again, and this is the time that we are going to find out where we will receive the top dressing, and then we will go to the farm, and this is our chance. So I want to thank this House because we have already, through Speaker, our chance to go and do our work in our home. Some of us, we are living in town, and there is something which is not good in the reserve, and we have to go there now to see what is going on there, because there is many challenges there. So as from today, I want to say thank you, Mr. Speaker, thank you, members. We will meet again in the next month, and we have to work in a good way. And I want to say our unity is good, because when we have a unity in this House, everything will go in a smooth way. And we have to say everybody must respect each other. And when we are talking like this, we want to request seniors like Moya and Hamos and Mr. Watt and whatever, you have to respect some of us, because we are still learning. And we are here to learn. And you have to correct it, but don't bring some jealousy inside of that. So I am here to support what our majority say, but I don't have much to say, but except I want to thank our Speaker because of a good leader in this House. Thank you.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii ili tutamatishe muhula huu ambao tumeupitia, muhula ambao tunaenda kwa likizo fupi wa muda wa mwezi moja, ili kukadiria na wananchi wetu yale tumepitisha, na pia kusimama nao katika utekelezaji wa miradi ambao tayari tumeanza kuyapatia kipaumbele katika nyanja zetu za wakilishi. Mheshimiwa Spika, nashukuru sana bunge hili kwa msimamo ambao wamechukua na kazi wametilia mkazo. Wamepitia katika zile tume tofauti ya kuangalia maslahi ya wanafunzi wetu walio katika nchi za ughaibuni na pia wale katika nchi hapa nyumbani. Pia Mheshimiwa Spika, bunge hili limeanza kuangalia maslahi ya wafanyikazi kwa muhula huu ambao wameangalia ni vipi wafanyikazi katika jimbo letu wamehusishwa katika utekelezaji wa mambo kadha wa kadha na pia ajira zao katika mhula huu. Mheshimiwa Spika, nafurahi sana Mheshimiwa Spika tamadhi ya kuidhinisha wale maafisa husika katika idara mbalimbali za ukatuzi kama vile barabara, mashambani, biashara na vitega uchumi ambavyo tumeitinisha siku ya leo. Ni ishara tosha kwamba bunge hili limesimama kwa kiwango chake cha kipekee kuona kwamba jimbo letu la Uasin Gishu ama katuzi letu la Uasin Gishu limeanza kukita mzizi na kuweka msingi ambao ni bora katika maendeleo katika eneo hili. Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka pia kusema ya kwamba mipango mikubwa ambayo tuko naye kama jimbo tunapoelekea katika mji mkuu katika kanda hili la kaskazini mwa nchi, tunasema kwamba kufikia mwaka ujao mambo mengi, nataka kuhimiza wananchi wetu kuwekeza sana katika sekta ama sehemu ya hotelia ama zile service industry, kwamba muda mfupi ujao tutakuwa na nafasi kubwa sana ya kudumia Kenya mzima, haswa eneo la magharibi wa Kenya mzima, kama sehemu ambayo liko na amani, liko na chakula, liko na mandhari mzuri ya hewa ambayo inafaa katika mikutano mikubwa ambayo yataandaliwa katika sehemu hii katika Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki na pia jumuiya yetu la kanda la mashariki la uchumi za vitaka uchumi za jimbo zetu za mashariki. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, naunga mkono kuenda katika likizo hii ya muda wa mwezi mmoja. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to really say that I want to support that this House do adjourn for a recess of 1 month. First of all, we want to thank God because when we started this session, God has been with us all. He has protected all of us. And today we want to say thanks to Almighty. We've been able to travel to and fro, and that one, God has protected all of us. We say thanks. We also want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, for guiding this House in all the deliberations that we've taken in this honorable House. We want to say thank you. This is an opportunity, Mr. Speaker, that we are getting to go and interact with our electorates, our families, who are dear ones to us. And also, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this is going to give honorable members an opportunity to be with their electorates again and also to interact on their needs. Mr. Speaker, this session has been a very good one, a very engaging session whereby we've done a lot of activities concerning our representation, oversight, and legislation. I want to say that this honorable House has been one of the very active House because all members have actively participated in the deliberations of this House. I want to say bravo to all our members. As Honorable Speaker, I want to say that also this holiday is going to give some of us time to do some celebrations within our localities. And whenever we shall welcome you people, kindly feel welcome and come and join us to celebrate the little that we shall be having. Otherwise, I want to say thank you, and we thank God for everything that has taken place according to His will. Thank you, and I support that we adjourn. Thank you.
Maybe we can finish with Honorable Maina Wachira.
Asante sana, Mungu mbele. Mheshimiwa Spika, asante sana. Kwanza nimesimama hapa kuunga mkono kiongozi walio wengi kwa sababu pendekezo ambaye amelileta ni pendekezo ambalo limekuja kwa wakati. Ukikumbuka ya kwamba waheshimiwa wote ambao tuko na wao hapa, kuna wale pia kule nyumbani tunangojwa na kazi ambaye ni ya wananchi, wengine pia wanangojwa na kazi ambao ni ya familia, na yote Mheshimiwa Spika, naamini tumepata fursa kwa sababu licha ya sisi kufanya kazi katika jimbo hili, vile vile katika makanisa yetu, kama vile mmoja wa Mheshimiwa mwenzangu amesema, itatubidi twende kule na tuweze kuswali pamoja na kuhakikisha ya kwamba pia tumefanya mambo ya mbinguni. Vile vile katika maboma zetu, utakubaliana na mimi Mheshimiwa Spika ya kwamba wengine kama sisi ambao tumekuja hapa kwa mara ya kwanza katika bunge hii, tumeweza pia kuangaliwa vizuri. Katika miili zetu kuna protini na kuna hali ya mshike wake wetu pale pia wanatungoja. Hivyo basi naamini ya kwamba watafurahi kusikia kwamba haturauki asubuhi, kwa sababu pia tuko na mbinu na wengine labda tunategea tuongeze watoto 4. Kwa hivyo nataka kusema Mheshimiwa Spika, asante sana. Mungu awabariki sana na tushirikiane na Mungu mbele. Naunga mkono mswada huu. Asante sana.
Maybe you can, I can allow you 1 minute, Honorable Baski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to support the motion moved by the majority that we go for recess, noting that even our children are actually closing their schools in the coming week. So I'd wish that we go have time together and enjoy together. I'd request that from the book of Ecclesiastes, it says the time to end something is actually very important, the time you start. So as we end the session for this time, for this period, I'd request all the members to go with me and read the book of Songs of Songs that is written by Solomon during his time, because he was actually writing at the end of the tribulation that he had. He was writing to his loved one. He was telling the good things that happens at the end. The coming of Jesus Christ will be wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable from Kipchamo, Cheptirech Ward. I know these are end times, really, and I hope God will never. First of all, I want to thank honorable members for this, your time, the time you have given me and my office for this second session. And I want to wish you all the best. It's your time to go and interact with your families, to interact also with those who voted for you. And I want to wish you all the best. You go and make use of this 1 month wisely, and I'll be happy to see you smiling when you come back for another session. So I'm also waiting for the next session, that is session 3 of this county assembly, and I want you to wish you all the best. Thank you so much. Being no any other business, this House stand adjourned. up to Tuesday, 16 May 2023 at 9:30 a.m. Thank you so much.